Hi there. I feel so excited to grace your airwave yet again for this week's super duper edition of Premium Times Podcast. I'm your host, Titi Lokwe Fadari. You know why I'm excited? Well, follow me, let's go. Doctor strike is nearing its second week, part of which fell within the week President Muhammadu Buhari traveled for his medical tourism abroad. The criticism that created the president's travel was this week downplayed by, guess who? Alhaji Lai Mohammed. That even reminds me of his trademark greenish cap with yellowish threads strewn around it. The information minister said seeking medical care abroad by the president was nothing and was not an indication that the nation's medical sector has collapsed. He said the president had the right to choose his physician and, in quotes, he is not the first head of state going abroad for treatment. He said, like him, irrespective of the nationality of the doctor, the president's long-term doctor cannot change just because he became president. He added that it was not even right to give a hoot about what people were saying about traveling to see doctors abroad. Ha! Alhaji Lai, well done, sir. Well done for the Lord's work you have been doing. But before that, maybe the information minister is not informed. Let me help him. For your information, sir, did you remember that President Buhari promised to improve the health sector and stop medical tourism if he became president? Over to you, Lai. Do you know that 40% of Nigerian youth between the age of 18 and 35 are deeply involved in drug abuse? Well, don't take my word for it. It is according to the National Drug Law Agency. The agency chief superintendent of narcotics, Atiku Abubakar, said the statistics was worrisome and showed that the problem had reached an epidemic level in the country. Dear youths, say no to drugs. It kills dreams and shortens lives. Don't do it. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army said another 186 members of the Islamic State West Africa province and Boko Haram have surrendered to the Nigerian troops. Some of them were civilians captured by terrorists. Others were those kidnapped, used as slave and sex workers by the criminals. Some came with children. Mixed feelings, anger in some cases among Nigerians have trailed the potential amnesty some of the terrorists would get. This is understandable. How easy is it to see a group of insurgents who have been responsible for the deaths of hundreds of Nigerians and displaced people just get abandoned like that? The government too has to speak with the right tone and be transparent in its approach. But I can't stop thinking of Lai Mohammed, and I'm sure I'm not the only one doing so. Perennial presidential hopeful and Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has disagreed that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable, as suggested by some Nigerian leaders. Mr. Abubakar said it was amusing to find people declare Nigeria's unity as fixed, yet they do everything in quotes destroy the nation's fragile unity. That sounded like he was referring to persons like President Muhammadu Buhari and recently former head of state Buhari and Babanginda, both of whom have said Nigeria's unity cannot be debated. Both leaders have often said the continuity of Nigeria as one has been concluded since independence. Therefore, there was no need to revisit it. But Mr. Abubakar appears to disagree. He said this amidst the rise in the rate of insecurity in the country, one that has bred secessionist sentiments and agitations in some parts of the country. The agitations are further fueled by the perception of marginalization in some parts of the country. Whatever it is, national discussion is a part of democracy, and public debates on national building cannot be stopped in any democratic setting. This is elementary. As always, this edition was written by Yusuf Akimpelu. I'm Titi Lokwe Fadari. See you next week. And please do not forget, if you like this podcast, Please share and favorite, and also visit www.premiumtimes.com to catch the latest edition of this podcast series.